And I want to walk you through some mathematics that we see out there in the social media world that frankly is pretty frustrating, right? And I think this is really, really interesting. Look at how fees affect you. We're specifically going to talk about assets under management. So maybe you've seen this. You have an individual that has a $1.5 million portfolio, and someone says, okay, well, if you have $1 million portfolio and you can earn 8% over the next 25 years, it's going to turn into X. Well, if you add an advisor, that advisor is going to cost you nearly a quarter of the value over the life of your relationship. And so we actually ran the math on this. We said, okay, someone that starts with $1.5 million, earning 8% over 25 years as a do-it-yourselfer, at the end of that 25 years, their portfolio, without any additions, would be worth about $10.2 million. That's the way the math plays out. And so then what they say is, oh, if you had an advisor and that advisor charged a 1% fee, by the time you got to the end of your 25 years, your portfolio is only going to be worth almost $8 million. That advisor, that 1% fee, took 22% of your total terminal value.
Yeah, I mean, I love how simplistic that is, but the problem is it's excluding some pretty big assumptions. As you've already shared, the fees go down the bigger you are. So this person, as they started having success in their portfolio, reached 2 million, 3 million, 5 million. You're going to see some prices it comes down substantially. This assumption only has value if you assume the fee stays 1% the whole time, even as you're getting bigger. And then you also assume you got no value out of the relationship, meaning that you should have just stayed a do-it-yourselfer and maximize this journey. And we kind of agree with you. If your life is simple and you don't feel like you're ever needing to reach out to an advisor for proper structure, making the right decisions, protecting you from making that fear and greed decisions that sometimes derail us, then what are you doing? But there are a lot of faults with the math of the way. Now, the math is right, but it's kind of like an error of omission. Yeah, it's still broken from reality because this isn't the way the math is really done in real life.
Okay, so let's see what a more realistic example would look like. You have the do-it-yourselfer, and then you have the poor example of the 1% fee. What if you have an advisor, and that advisor has a tiered fee that decreases as the portfolio grows? And then we said, let's do this. Vanguard, which was the study we looked at a couple minutes ago, said that an advisor on average could add 4.2% over annualized over the life of working with you based on all the stuff that they're doing. And we said, but you know what, you guys are financial mutants. So let's not even give the advisor credit for adding 4%. Let's cut it in half. Say you have an advisor because you're a really, really good do-it-yourselfer as a financial mutant, but hiring an advisor for you will add only 2%, where Vanguard found that it would actually add 4%. How does that break down? And just so you know, because you guys are going to ask the question, we went ahead and said, let's use our fee schedule. Our fee schedule here to Bound Wealth is 1.25% on the first million, 1% on the next two, 0.75 on the next two, and 0.5% over 5. So as your portfolio grows, the effective fee that you're paying decreases. What does that actually look like through time? Well, you can see in this example, if an advisor charges a fee but is able to add just 2% annually, instead of your do-it-yourselfer ending with $10.2 million, at the end of 25 years, that person with an advisor actually ended with $13.1 million, which is a 27.5% increase on terminal portfolio value.
Well, let's put some of this, because cost is what you pay, value is what you receive. If you're thinking about what your net result is, somebody who helps you structure your multiple million-dollar portfolio to where you know how to put your investments where they're more tax efficient, tax location matters. If you have somebody who helps you when you have all this tax deferred, because we all know the first account to reach $1 million status for wealthy people is their 401k. Well, that's also probably going to be taxed at ordinary income tax rates. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody could help you structure the timing of how you're going to decumulate, meaning you're going to withdraw that money out in a tax-favored way, where instead of you paying 37%, we can get it down to maybe even below 15%. Those things matter. And then when you get into the estate planning, the legacy goals, this is what we're talking about. If all this sounds like, who needs that? If that's not you, take the free stuff. But if you are listening to this and you say, man, I've had some success, and I am just realizing I just don't know what I don't know. I have blind spots. I also worried, what happens when I'm not here? Maybe I'm the financial mutant, but my spouse is not. You can't tell me that a person who has spent decades doing this, thousands of hours, helped people do this hundreds of times, there is value in knowing what your skill is, that 10,000 hours versus somebody who's coming in green as they can be and wondering, hey, am I making the right decision? Who knows? Shucks, let's let it rip.